Come on, we serve notice to the enemy that God is still reigning supreme. Wow. Everybody clap your hands. Say, oh. Say, oh. Say, oh. Say, oh. In the crowd. Everybody, oh, you say. Say, oh. Say, oh. Oh. Everybody come. Come on, that's a primer. You should come with fire in your heart. Come on. You know what he's done for you this week. Everybody clap your hands. Do it again. Say it. Say, oh. Oh. Say, oh. Oh. Say, we praise you. We praise you. Say, we praise you. We praise you. Say, exalt you. Say, exalt you. Say, exalt you. Come on, lift it. Say, exalt you. Say, we lift you. Say, we lift you. Say, we lift you. Come on. Say, we lift you. Oh, oh. Oh, oh. Oh, oh. Oh, that's your say. Say, oh, oh. Oh, oh. Oh, my God is big, so strong, so mighty. My God plans for me goes beyond my wildest dreams. Say, my God is big, so strong, so mighty. Tell your neighbor, my God plans for me. They go beyond my wildest dreams. Say, my God is so good. Tell your neighbor, so good to me. Come on. Now everybody clap. Oh, 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 oh. Say, oh, oh. Tell your neighbor, say, oh, oh, say, my God is big, so strong, so mighty. Say, my God is plans for me. They go beyond. They go beyond. Tell your neighbor, my God has been so good. He's so good to me. Now everybody clap your. We serve the one true King. Say, we serve the one true King. Yeah, you gotta declare it so everybody knows. We serve the one true King. Yeah, come on, sing it again. Everybody say the one true King. We serve the one true King. We serve the one true King. The one true King. We serve the one true King. I don't know what to. He's the one true King. One true King. The one true King. Everybody clap your. We just come to let you your own self. The enemy all in your ear. Just turn and tell him. Say, oh yes, he can.
Oh yes, he can.
Oh yes, he can.
Oh yes, he can.
If you're dealing with sickness in your body,
he can.
oh yes, he can.
Oh yes, he can.
He can do it.
Oh yes, he can.
He can do it.
Oh yes, he can.
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 He's able.
He's able.
Able.
He's able.
I know that he is.
He's able.
I know that he is.
He's able.
He's able.
He's able.
Everything he said.
He's able.
Everything he is.
He's able.
Everything he do.
He's able.
He's able.
He's able.
Able, able, able.
He's able.
Open up your mouth and
He's
tell him.
able.
Lord, I know you can.
He's able.
Yeah.
He's able. He's able. He's able. He's able.
Everybody clap, yo. Sometimes you just gotta declare that. On the way to the bathroom, on the way to the lunch.